Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Welcome to Club 120. The ultimate roundtable for diehard Cubs fans and lovers of all things sports and lifestyle.
Strike three, you're out.
Hosted by Neil and Nate, two former baseball players and coaches turned loud mouths with strong opinions and even stronger banner. Get ready for quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and the occasional heated debate. From analyzing Cubs on-field action to diving into off-field drama, no topic is off limits. So grab your glove, pour a drink, and pull up a seat at Club 120, where the banner's quick, the takes are hot, and the Cubs always come first. Let's get started.
Play ball.
Hello, Cubs friends. It's 120. You know what that means. It's time to grab an old style and a bleacher seat, and you're in Club 120. Let's talk some Cubs. I'm Nate, and with me, as always, is a man who's always smiling, rounding third base, Neil. What's on today's lineup card, Coach?
Oh, man. Heck of a show on tap today. We are actually recording after the loss to the Marlins, so it's a little bit later than usual. We typically record during the day on Wednesday, so it's nighttime, and hoping to get a sweep, but we didn't get it. So first off, I'll tell you what's on tap for the show. We got a couple good categories, couple new ones. Welcome to the show. All the new faces. Bullpen Leverage, PCA is Lightning, Quality Baby, Double Agent Craig, and we'll end things with the topic of the week: acceptable expectations. So, man, let's get it started. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. We had a couple of really eventful days in the last week. The Cubs' number one overall prospect, Cade Horton, comes up, and the number one bat. I don't know where he's currently ranked, but he's definitely top five. Mo Baller, Moises Ballesteros is now with the big club. So that brings a lot of questions, but a lot of excitement too, right? You get to see these kids coming up so fast, and there's so much expectations on them. What are your expectations for a kid like Cade Horton right now for the Cubs?
Well, I don't know if we want to get into expectations. That's our topic of the week, so I don't want to skip ahead to that. But I mean, I'm already disappointed, I'll be honest, and it has nothing to do with performance on the field. I'm disappointed that Moises Ballesteros is up for a limited time. Like, this is his cup of coffee, as you want to, whatever you want to say. And here we are, day two, and he's not in the lineup. He's going to be. Ian's already publicly said that next Tuesday he'll be back in the lineup.
Okay. And
so that means he's probably going to be here until next Tuesday, unless he just absolutely starts annihilating at bats, right? Like, so he's only here for a limited amount of time, and we're not going to play him. So I don't know. That's a little frustrating. We're going to bring you up for 10 days or 8 games or 6 games, whatever it may be, and you just got to sit and watch one of them. So that's frustrating for me. Cade Horton, obviously, he was everything I expected and more. Thought his outing was great. Just made one mistake, and that's the difference between the big club and AAA. AAA, you can make a mistake and maybe get away with it. At this level, if you make a mistake, most good hitters are going to pay. But the good thing about the Cubs, though, obviously, as we've learned in the Marlins series with most good hitters, we just going to keep pitching to them. We're just going to keep throwing BP to these guys and just see how far they can hit it.
Isn't that interesting that every team seems to have a Cub killer, and it makes no sense. Every series, there's one dude. It's just one. And I text you, I was not live tonight watching the game, and I'm sure Twitter was much better off for it. But I just said maybe don't pitch to him. I sent that to you before he came up the third time, and and he's still the third time up. Lines one out to center. I saw. I was like, geez. One more question here, because you already mentioned the Mo Baller schedule, right? So Ballesteros might be here for a week, maybe a couple of days longer if there's some other weird thing roster wise to do. Do you expect Cade Horton to be here for the rest of the year?
I think he gets two more cracks at it, 2 more starts, and depending on how those go, unless he absolutely blows up, yeah, I do expect him to be here. Here's the thing, I have a lot to learn when it comes to these transactions and what in the world. I saw that Tyson Miller was added to the 60-day IL, but then I also saw that he is going to pitch again on like May 28th or 26th or something like that. So my math is not mathing. I don't know how in the world that works, but that might be 60 days in dog years.
Yeah. Oh, well, they got a lot of retro stuff too. Just like Ian said, hey, I'm going to be gone. I'll be back by next Tuesday. Well, he just went on. So you got to be 10 days. But if they retroactive it to a date, especially when it's a guy like Miller who's been out there forever, seems like he's been on the IL since mid-spring training. And
well, yeah, but he made a start and got a comebacker to the head, I believe, and that's what
triggered the new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we're not even where hip impingement was already done, and now we're on to concussion protocol or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't.
Well, maybe someday what we'll do is we'll just break that down. And we'll have some fun with roster stuff, because I wish, maybe there's a wizard out there that could tell us exactly how that works, because they still haven't technically made a move for the 40-man, right? And Ballesteros is here, but moving somebody to the 60, I thought did not change their 26 or 40 plan. But again, maybe there's some loopholes that we're just missing, and that's probably it. I'm looking forward to seeing these guys. Welcome to the show. Good cups of coffee so far. Ballesteros is going to get his foot down and barrel out on one of these here in the next week, and we're going to be really, really excited. So give him some time. Boy, did he have some opportunities though in his first night to be just something crazy special. It seemed like every time he came up, there was, guys were bases loaded or 2 guys on, and he just needed one line drive there to just break him open. But he's going to get there. So, it's going to be a good time for them this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So moving on to the next one, bullpen leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight bullpen looked fantastic.
Right. Well, here's my notes.
It's such a big question mark, right? Like, you never know what you're going to get.
We got a first glimpse of what it is. You say, we don't know what we're going to get. This is the issue. We have yet to face back-to-back high leverage games. Guys have been messing up games, but that wasn't their back-to-back night where they didn't throw the night before or whatnot. We tried it a little bit with Danny P early. He's thrown a couple of back-to-backs, but we have not. The Cubs have not played back-to-back high leverage games a ton this year, so we haven't really had to worry about running Porter, Danny, Keller, Presley out back-to-back nights, right? And that's the test of your bullpen. And right now, I think that's our biggest issue, Neil, is we're not good on back-to-back leverage nights. We can't get 9 outs by the same 3 guys on back-to-back nights. And not that we need to ask them of that a lot, but when we come to playoff baseball and we play on a Tuesday night and then we come back on a Wednesday night, we're going to need those guys again. So I'm concerned with the leverage and the clutch, if you will, or the ability to execute in high leverage situations. And that list is short. And depending on how many pitches they've thrown recently, it gets shorter, in my opinion.
No, I agree. And but I do think that, I think tonight had potential to be a high leverage night in a 3-1 ball game where, Ryan Dempster in the booth just kept saying, like, you just need a bloop and a dong. Like, that's it. Like, and you're right back in this thing. And so I felt like every time we did hand the ball to somebody else, I won't say high leverage, but it was a leverage situation where we can't let them tack any more runs on the board. But also, when the lineup card came out, I think I texted you and said, I don't even think we try to win getaway days anymore. Like I don't know what we're doing. Like we clearly were not. We put that out there into the world. Like, hey guys, we're already heading into our off day. We're gonna go ahead and take this one 24 hours early.
I have some notes on that for later because there's a topic that I would like to loop that back in. But it is interesting on who's coming out of the pen at times right now. There's a few guys that are really good at passing the buck right now. Honestly, they're taking the rock and they're passing it on with a 0 up there. Keller is a rock right now. Drew Pomerantz. What Kool-Aid is he drinking? I want some because I feel like I might be able to get a couple more out, ABs out of me with whatever he's
he
drinking.
was great tonight.
Theobar's back, which is great. We missed him over the weekend. There was a really good situation that I was just like, man, that was the spot for Theobar right there. I felt like, and it really affected us. And that's maybe the biggest issue is who's our high leverage guys? How can we handle them? And how are we going to compete with that? And I do love the way that some of these guys are stepping up. But there is some trends that aren't very good right now. Merriweather is having a little bit of a mental marshmallow week. Presley had a good K the other night, but that's the first bat he's missed since Trump's first administration. So there's still question marks. We're looking for the leverage to increase, especially as these games, there's not a ton of off days in a row here coming up. And so we're going to get a bunch of games in a line where these guys are all going to have to be good, or we're going to be bringing this up on a weekly basis. And let's hope that that's not true, that the rest of these guys kind of melt in together and that leverage is just something that, hey, it's my turn. Here's my 3 outs. Let's go.
Okay, moving on. PCA is lightning. This kid is absolutely on fire. Like, I tweeted the other night, Pete Crow All-Star. I think All-Star is not where this conversation stops. Like, I think he might continue to make his way to the MVP conversation if he continues to see pitches and work counts and try to get on base. Man, I don't know where this kid's ceiling is.
No, there's not a shot he doesn't have in the bag. This was a funny one. I saw this one going around as well with the play on PCA. This one's going around like national. PCA is the underscore like blank center fielder in MLB. Like, why is there a blank? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, PCA is the best center fielder. Like, there's no other conversation to be having right now. Churio, neat. Jackson Merrill, cool. Like, there's some guys with some skins on the wall that are a little bit older. Great. This guy's first in everything. Okay. You want to throw it out there for a center fielder? It's there. Defensive ratings to offensive ratings. So anything he wants to do on the baseball field is there. And like you said, the ceiling is, I don't know. The ceiling is Griffey. How about that?
Yeah.
That's the ceiling. So light me on fire, please. Here's something that's been interesting to develop, and I've looked into some of this stuff, getting into contracts and some things. Pete is heading towards what's called Super 2 status. Are you familiar with that?
I am not.
Okay. So in your second year, in your first 2 years, if you don't, Jackson Merrill hit it in his first year. He won Rookie of the Year. So he is a Super 2, but he's been bought out with his contract. Super 2 status goes to a very low percentage of players who are the best at their positions or in their, current status, which Pete's a year 2 player, which is huge for the long term of arbitration, which means we're looking at his arbitration 2 and 3 years, which will be, his 4th and 5th years in the league. They're going to be north of what Kyle Tucker's making right now. So that $75 million that the Cubs offered him in some, get a little bit of hits here, get some more millions, get some plays here, get some million. No, he's already put that in his bag. That's why he turned that $75 million down. There's no more incentives. We're talking about an actual contract here, and it's going to be what the Cubs are willing to pay, or they're going to have to negotiate through arbitration, and they're going to lose that every time because he's a Super 2. So you're basically just taking the top 3 or 4 salaries in their range. Tucker's making, 16.5 this year, 17.5, something like that. He's probably going to be in the neighborhood of 20 plus for his last 3 years. So that $75 million he's already spent. Like the Cubs already have that earmarked. They have to, because they're going to lose that arbitration. So the question is, will the Cubs come forward with an actual contract in the Merrill or better offer? And do you think that he would take it, or something in that range would make sense?
Well, I think there's a couple reasons why. I think if the Cubs made him some sort of offer that is maybe, I don't want to say it's if it's in the ballpark where it could be not the same after the labor. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I think we're going to be able to lock him in at a little less and a little sooner, simply because of the unknown of what's after 2027. 2026 is the last year before the supposed lockout that's coming, and I believe it will come because greed always wins. So,
well, I think that might be a smart play for Pete, because I do believe the money is going to change. At some point, the money power is going to balance, and for the last couple of negotiating terms, the players' union has been weakened. So while you see these massive big contracts, look at the number of pitchers making more than $12 million. Used to be your fourth and fifth starters were making $15 to $18 million. They're not anymore. So I bet he does. I bet he takes this year, banks it, and in the offseason, whatever they put on the table is probably worth negotiating at that rate. And at this point, I'm sorry, it's better than Merrill. So I'm looking at 150 plus, because he is lightning. Pete Crow-Armstrong is lightning. And he's lighting us on fire, and we love it.
All right. Next topic, quality baby.
What?
We got two guys on the roster.
3. What is in the water in Wrigleyville right now? Caleb Theobar, congratulations. He actually just had a baby.
Okay, yeah, Theobar. And you got – I still haven't seen any. You keep saying that Tucker's having – I haven't seen that. And
they
then
they did it less Instagram worthy, if you will. This was not a planned photo shoot with matching outfits.
It wasn't a promposal.
It's not. In true Tucker fashion, it was just a tweet out there and a just a little, hey, sorry, we're gonna have a baby, and then Mallory's got the full shoot.
X on him for stealing any of her glory.
Oh, okay, I mean, if we want to go there, we could say the quiet part out loud, maybe, but we need a live chicken and maybe some sage for Tucker's bat, because we're in it right now. But yes, what a beautiful time to be in Wrigleyville, having children, raising families. And that's what we want for Kyle Tucker, right? We want Dansby to commit, tell him all day long, raise your kid in Chicago, because this is where we want you to. So it's something that Tucker actually hinted on a couple of times in interviews early on. Where I'm going to raise a family is important to me. Family's important to me. And so now we know why. Right. He was sitting on this because, most people wait till their first trimester or whatever to run it out there. I'm sure, that's an interesting, but the starter of the quality baby, JD, the wonderful bit that he does. We've had some interesting booth matchups this year, and the Cubs have always done a good job of rotating, guys in like Demp and Sut when they go to the West Coast. Who's your favorite tandem in the booth right now, if you matched them up?
I mean, here's the thing, listen, I don't want to make anybody feel bad. I'm not trying to drag anybody through the mud, but I don't freaking care. You know what I mean? Like, when I turn on Cubs baseball, I don't care if Ryan Presley's mom is in the booth. It does not matter to me. Like, let her rip, Jan. I don't care. Like, I like Boog. I know a lot of people out there like hate the stories and hate all the stuff that's not baseball. I like that crap. I don't care. But I'm watching the baseball game, right? And I mean, I watch on Marquee, so I don't have the option. But when I'm out of town, when I'm traveling, I watch on MLB TV. And on there, you have the option to switch to the radio, guys. Whenever I do have that option, I listen to Pat and Ron. So I even more don't care who's in the booth at that point, because I'm listening to the radio guys. I mean, Ron, Pat's a Hall of Famer. Like,
Cubs have had some good ones. So that begs the question: is the ire or the question around who's in the booth tonight and what's going on with that? Is that because of the legacy of Harry Carey and Pat and just being a part of this organization and people's lives and just the soundtrack in the background for so many years? Do they want that consistency? Is that what we're missing and why people are up in arms about this?
Yeah, the things people hate Boog for, it's maddening because the things that people hate Boog for is like it's what Harry Carey was. Like Harry Carey would go 3 innings without talking about the baseball game that is being played. Like he would talk about words spelled backwards and like, who's in the crowd and whose birthday it is and their name, how you would say it if it was spelled backwards. Like you want to talking about stuff that no one cares about. And then we hold this guy in such high regard, and then we trash Boog for the exact same reasons that we loved Harry Carey. So it's one of those things where I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of the get off my lawn guy, but to me it doesn't matter who's calling the game. Like I saw somebody on Twitter. I mean, the entire post just said "Shut up, Dempster," and it's like,
dude's won
it's like
75 games in the bigs. Like he can talk all he wants.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to tweet. You can just turn down your TV. Like, how about that? Like, I mean, problem solving 101. Like, I don't know.
It's quite an entertaining group, no matter what, and it's good to know that they're always putting guys in there, and there's definitely a fresh perspective. We get multiple ones of it, and that's good. Speaking of multiples, you made a comment over the offseason, and it's kind of stuck with me. And some of these things keep popping up occasionally from here or there. You said Craig might be a double agent, and
did I say might be?
You were a little more firm than that, I believe. You think that he actually is. You might have seen his credentials. I don't know. But there's some things that are concerning to me about Craig Counsell at times. Are we still there? Are you still firm in that he is running a double life here with his managerial style and what he's doing in the clubhouse and the dugout?
It's like the movie Dumb and Dumber when he's like, just when I think you can't get any dumb, you go and totally redeem. And that's exactly how it is. Like, it's like, okay, we make some moves and it's like, okay, like Craig's going to manage the team now. Like you can't handle this spot, Nate Pearson. Here's a ticket back to Iowa. You can't handle this spot, Wicks. Here's your ticket back to Iowa. Like you can't handle this at third base, Gage. You're gone. Like, and I think, okay, this is what we're paying the money for. Like this guy is going to manage the roster, and then you put out a lineup today that says, "Hey, we forfeit today." Like,
there's an old coaching trick. I don't know if you ever did this one, where you just put everybody's name in a hat and you just pull it out, and you just go one by one. Everybody's playing their normal positions, but you guys care a little too much about I only hit in the 4 spot, or I'm used to hitting in the 1 and leadoff. So as a coach, you just do it. And I feel like today that was what that was. Hopefully it was an attempt to break up something, because the bigger issue here I'll get to in a second, but that's what it looked like today. Here's my bigger issue. We have a massive problem. The Cubs are really fun and they're really good. So let's temper this. But we have a problem on closing out series. And when that happens, that's not the players playing anymore, because they have to do that anyway. At some point, something needs to change. And that's got to come from the clubhouse. That's coming from the manager's office. I don't know what's going on Sundays and Wednesdays. It seems to be those are the only 2 days, but obviously those change throughout the season when we get less off days. But Sundays are obviously always going to happen. But we have a massive problem, and I'm leaning on Craig right now because I don't think he's doing enough to change that. This isn't a 1-week deal. This isn't, oh man, last couple of series have been a little tough. Brother, we have not done anything productive since we swept the A's as far as a Sunday or a Wednesday. We're not finishing, and that is a managerial issue.
No, here's the thing. I just to talk about today's lineup. Like, I could have told you, like I could have looked in my crystal ball before I went to bed last night and be like, oh, Justin Turner hit a walk-off today. I guarantee you that he is going to hit for Bush tomorrow, guaranteed. So I wasn't surprised when I saw that, not even a little bit.
Mhm.
What absolutely I can't wrap my head around, and was Dansby in the leadoff spot. And now I get it; he's hitting like 430 something in the last 15 games, whatever. And Sam Olber, I love Sam, but I think it was him. I'm not sure, but somebody was like, Dansby earned this, and he's earned this spot, and that's fine. He has, but PCA hit the leadoff last night,
Mhm.
and I think he earned the right to stay there.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what this carousel that we're doing, other than it was a day that we, again, had already won the series. And I almost feel like, our focus all the way back to last year was just win the series.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes our focus seems to be we just won the series. So who cares?
Yeah.
Where
But
I'd like to see a little more sweeps, I think the A's are the only sweep we have. And the Dodgers in a 2-game series, with that, 2-game series sweeps don't really count to me. So we have one sweep.
we're winning series. We've lost a couple now, but the Marlins got us back right. Yeah, it's an issue. And I mentioned it a few weeks ago. I said this is something to keep a tab on. Well, we're pulling the tab now. This is real. This problem to close series out is no longer a player problem in my mind. Something has to change from the manager's office coming out, and from there, we'll see how that goes, because they can change the tone. He's never going to play another game. Craig Counsell's not playing any more games. The only thing he can do now is play games with the players, right? And some of that's like platooning Michael Bush. Why? What game are we playing here? Changing the lineup whenever it's not really that necessary. Interesting thoughts. So keep it up, Double Agent Craig. We see you. You've caught our eye. We know what's going on here, so we're going to keep an eye on that. We do have some expectations, and we need to figure out what those acceptable ones are. The Cubs are in the middle of an easy schedule here, Neil. There are now 15 games after tonight. I had this from earlier today, so we have 15 games left in this month. We go Sox, Marlins, Reds, Rockies, Reds, all 3-game sets. That's 15 games. At the end of this month, what is your expectation that you would find acceptable what this Cubs team is at as far as record?
It doesn't. Here's what I did not have in my bingo card was the St. Louis Cardinals winning 10 of their last 11.
Mhm.
That's stupid. That's just stupid. And they're not that good. They're just not. They made 0 offseason moves, and here we are. Here we are. And man, that is not who I thought we would have to deal with in the division. So my expectation is that we have to win. We have to keep winning. This is the part of the schedule that we all circled and said, this is where we get 6, 7, 8 games up on the division right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part of our schedule where we get enough breathing room to where if we have a bad week, it's okay.
Right.
And I don't know. I just feel like 2 out of 3 against the Marlins isn't going to cut it. If the rest of the division, well, not the rest of the division, but if the Cardinals are going to be that hot, then 2 out of 3 against the Marlins is not going to cut it. But the group of series you just mentioned, my expectation is that we go through the rest of May and we can't drop a series. That's my expectation.
Okay. So 10 wins minimum out of that group. That's the thing about baseball, right? I mean, look, the Dodgers are losing games. Did you know that? The Dodgers, besides to the Cubs, have now lost to other teams in the major leagues. It's crazy. But that's baseball.
Not according to Major League Baseball's Twitter account, though. But I mean, that's another topic.
Yes, you're right. However, I think we're in lockstep here. The WTS theory, the win the series theory, is the way to keep rowing this boat. Now, I'd love to get more sweeps or whatnot, but we're going to lose a game 1 out of this, and then we're going to have to win a game 3, right? Like that, it's going to have to change soon, or we're going to be losing more series than we thought, because we're just going to have a night like tonight. J-Mo gives up 4 hits, 3 of them are yard. Crazy, right? Like that's nothing. That's a silly day in Wrigley. 3 solo home runs. A pitcher would be ecstatic that he got out of there with 3 runs, and he took a loss today. But I think 10 wins is where we're at. I think that puts us at what? We're 6 over now, 5 over?
But again, here we are. We gave up 3 home runs, 2 to the same guy who also hit a triple. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one dude. Like, what are we doing?
So we'll be 11.
You know what here's what worries me is, the Sox are coming in, and they won 3 in a row.
The Cubs are going to get everybody's best shot, and they've been getting everybody's best shot. Look, this kid tonight, first start of the year, off of surgery, just deals. I mean, that's all we've seen is guys just bringing it, and we've got a target on our back. I guess I don't know, showcasing in Japan and all the expectations. I don't know what it is this year, but I feel like between the buzz and Wrigley and just the Cubs in and of themselves and the expectations around that, they're getting everybody's best shot. To make hay on the I'm circling the 2 Cincy series. It's 1 home and 1 away. Those are the ones that I'm watching to see. I think we can take care of business with the Sox and take that series. Obviously, we can take care of Miami in that series. The 3rd series there, that at Cincy, the first time we have a division opponent on the road besides Pittsburgh, Cincy, and I guess St. Louis now are going to be the problem. Let's see how we do there. I think we can get 10 wins out of this set. I think we keep winning the series. That puts us at 7, 8, 11 games over, I think is where my math is. 11 games over heading into June is not a bad place to be. And you're worried about the division. I'm not. Let me just say this. We have to play everybody. We haven't played much of them. So everybody's going to win and everybody's going to lose some games. The Cardinals are hot now, but that doesn't mean that they can't go 0-9 in July. So the division's going to shake itself out as long as we take care of our business. I don't love scoreboard watching in May. It's funny to watch, to see that. It's a little scary to watch a team like the Cardinals get super hot like that. But let's not scoreboard watch, and let's take care of game 3 in our series. And I think that will take care of itself a little faster than hoping that the Cardinals lose a game and we pick up a half game because of somebody else's, misfortune.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I've never hoped that you were right as much as I do in this moment right now. So I hope you're right. I hope you are all over it. So that's our show. That's it. That's what we got.
Just keep winning series, Cubs. Let's do that. Let's take care of the Schwiss this weekend. Let's send the Sox back to the South Side, and end another good week of baseball. Right? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spending part of your week with us. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show. Visit us online, www.club120show.com. That's it. Go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs, go.
This has been Club 120. Neil and Nate have practically spent their entire lives doing something centered around baseball. And with these guys, you're going to get quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and, yes, heated debates. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, you can find us on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show. And, of course, the website at www.club120show.com. Until next time, go Cubs, go!